Welcome to the Made in MV podcast, where we invite you in to learn how we do what we do at the Mount Vernon School and why. In this fourth episode, meet 5 upper school students, Maddie Strudwick, Liam Adams, William Nix, Curran Jolly, and Joe Srinivasan, who are deeply engaged in the Innovation Diploma program at Mount Vernon. Hear how ID has changed the trajectory of their education and opened up networks for them. The 124 students in this program are coached to go beyond their comfort zones, doing the work of industry professionals. It is clear that age does not indicate capability. Good afternoon. This is Ann Katz, and I'm here. I'm so excited to host 5 of our Mount Vernon Innovation Diploma students. We are going to learn a lot about what this program has to offer and what it has done for these individuals. I am very, very excited to get to know each of you and to broadcast your stories to others who may not even know they want to know as much as they need to know about Innovation Diploma. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and get started. If each of you could please introduce yourselves. Let's go ahead and start with Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Srinivasan. Sorry, I was muted. I'm a 10th grader here at Mount Vernon, sophomore year. I've been in ID all of high school, so all of 9th grade last year, and then all of this year so far. And then my first year at Mount Vernon was 7th grade, so I've been here since 7th grade.
Great. All right, Curran, next.
So I'm also a sophomore. I've been in ID since the 9th grade, so this is my 2nd year. And I've been in Mount Vernon since preschool, so this is my 12th year.
A lifer. That's what we call you, a cult club. All right, William.
Hi, my name is William Nix. I am a junior here. I have been in ID all of my sophomore year and for most of my, of course, junior year now. I have been here for about 12 to 13 years.
Great. Welcome. Maddie.
So my name is Maddie. I am a senior this year, and I was actually new to Mount Vernon last year, and I've been in Innovation Diploma since then.
Great. And Liam.
My name is Liam. I'm a senior here at Mount Vernon. I've been at Mount Vernon since 9th grade, and I've been in iDiploma the whole time I've been in Mount Vernon. Yeah.
What a great range of perspectives you will all offer to us. Before we get started and I start asking you each questions about your individual journey, Liam, will you start us off by giving us an overview of Innovation Diploma? What is this? What is the program?
Well, Innovation Diploma is most people would think of it as a different track, but it's not really a different track. It only takes over your freshman and sophomore humanities classes and changes the way humanities is taught at Mount Vernon and gears it more towards personal design and creation for a user, so that once you get into your junior and senior year, you can come into design briefs, which are elective classes where we are connected with a client and we try and solve a problem. And in those classes, we try and solve a problem for our client that they have presented to us or we find through our research. And we use the skills that we are taught in these Innovation Diploma humanities classes, freshman and sophomore year, to better create a solution for our user and our client at the end of our senior and junior years.
That's great. Thank you, Liam. William, what would you add to that?
So sorry, took me a bit to unmute. I want to say, or what I can say is that I have loved the ID experience so much, and that it's different than, of course, it's not a different track, but it introduces you into a new way of thinking. So when working with these clients, what you do is you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes or the other community's shoes and really think about how might I solve this problem and how might I make their way of doing things, or how might I help their way of doing things become better, more enriched? How might we learn through that experience as well?
And Joe, where do these clients come from?
They come from all over. I mean, I didn't work on this, but we've had Delta, Chipotle, I know, that Olive Book thing they're working on now. Last year, Kern and I we didn't work for these people, but we had some experts come in and talk about fake irises and femurs and ways to test them. So, I mean, they come from everywhere, really.
That's great. So Curran, tell us a story about the work that you've done, a specific story with a specific client or a specific project that you've done with ID.
Yeah, so right now in industrial design, we're working on building a mini golf course to showcase at the homecoming game, which is this Friday. And one of the big things we did in this process is we actually went to a mini golf course and played along and met with the owner and the builders and kind of looked at a new perspective on how to build it. And then we created these pitches and we presented to each other within ID, and we presented to the actual owner itself. And I thought that was a really nice process to kind of, it was almost like a little field trip to kind of go somewhere and actually learn new things. Yeah.
So what did you actually learn? What did you learn from speaking to the actual owner of the golf course? What did you take away from that you could implement in your project?
Yeah, so there were a lot of kind of intricate details about mini golf that are very intentional and that I didn't realize were so intentional. For example, different ways that the grass might kind of be angled or leveled, different kind of things like that. And it was very interesting to look at that and see how we can take that into account and implement that into our own mini golf course on a much smaller scale. Also, they had a lot of different themes, and I thought that was very interesting because we'd been looking at kind of theming the golf course or having different icons, different things to kind of represent things. And just that kind of idea of theming the golf course and the way they implemented that was definitely the biggest takeaway.
So when you think about your future and all the things that your future holds and what you'll do and who you'll speak to and what you'll learn, what is it about ID and that particular experience, since you gave us that example, gives you specific skills? And what specific skills are those that you can take and apply those to any project or initiative that you take on?
I think the biggest skill that I've kind of developed so far has definitely been talking to experts or talking about clients in that kind of situation, because I think if I wasn't an ID, I would never have that kind of client user conversation there, and just to build the skills there. And I'm kind of a shy person. I'm very laid back. I don't really like to get up and present things. So definitely having that and having that as one of the more focal things that I do is helping me develop those skills.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Joe, what would you tell someone if they were considering the Innovation Diploma program based on your experience?
I would tell them, oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say a student. I would just say peer-to-peer. What would you tell a peer?
I would tell them, I think first thing, I would tell them what I was worried about when I was applying. And I think my biggest one was I wouldn't be able to hang out with all my friends. Because like if they didn't get into ID, I wouldn't be able to get to hang out with them. But that's not really true. Like Liam and Nick said, it's only your humanities classes that are ID related. So every single other class you get to hang out with your friends in, and obviously like lunch and stuff like that. So I wouldn't worry about that. And also like you might not think you're great at something. So I didn't think I was very good at building. So I was kind of concerned about if I go in there, how am I going to do? Because I don't really know how to build stuff yet or work with wood, or I'm like scared of sharp things. But ID showed me that it didn't really matter because Mr. Tiffin, for example, he helped me so much because I learned how to build under him. So yeah, I guess don't worry about anything because they'll help you through it, whatever you're scared about.
So do you think that, would you consider it pushing you outside of your comfort zone? Did you feel safe to do that?
I think they definitely make you challenge. Make you challenge your opinions about yourself. Mostly. Like I thought I couldn't build, turns out I can. I thought my idea generation was slower. It's not. So they make you kind of realize that you're actually better at this stuff than you think you are.
So what do you think it is that was the aha moment that gave you the confidence to believe that you actually, you labeled yourself as not being good at building, but turns out, in fact, you are. So what was the moment that you decided, oh, well, actually, I'm not going to say I'm not very good at this anymore?
I think like Curran was talking about the mini golf course that we're making right now. Definitely, I think right when we started this project, because Mr. Tiffin told us like, he said, I'm not going to build this for you. You're going to have to do it yourself. And when when you just he just explained all the tools and stuff, and then he just said, get to work. And we did. So that was just awesome because I knew what I was doing and I knew how to paint and screw and all that. And I was just kind of like, I actually know how to do this. I don't need his help.
So would you say that it's really structured or not structured, or do you get to go at your own pace, or what is that like?
I think freshman year was definitely, it was pretty structured, at least at the start, because I mean, you have no idea what you're doing. So that needs to be pretty structured. But earlier this year, it's starting to become a little less structured because they respect you. So they know that you know what you're doing. So they kind of let you go. I think they do let you go at your own pace. I mean, obviously we had a deadline for the golf course, but he has let us, use our own ideas and build it ourselves.
Does it feel empowering to be able to do that as opposed to just kind of sitting at a desk, having a team? Not that we do that here at Mount Vernon, but typically in school, you sit at a desk, you have a teacher talking to you, telling you, then you kind of, share it back so that shows that you learned. What is the difference in doing what you're doing hands-on than that?
I think I definitely learn more hands-on. I think lecturing is just really boring, kind of goes in one ear out the other. And doing hands-on, I just learn more from it. I enjoy it more too. So when I enjoy more, I learn more from it. And it just makes going to school fun. So like, I'm excited every day to go to school and like, yes, we get to build this hole on the mini golf course. So I think it just makes school more enjoyable.
We'd love to hear that. What hole is the one you spent the most time on?
Ooh, I mean, I kind of worked on all of them, trying to like put the turf down on them. But I think the Mustang Rally hole, that's definitely the one I've worked the most on.
And what number is that? Do you know yet?
Don't know yet. We're going to figure that out later, but I think it's around 7 or 8.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to play it. Look forward to that. All right. Thank you, Joe. And William, tell us about your experience. You did not join in the 9th grade. So tell us about your experience coming into a track that is, a little bit more unconventional than someone starting in 9th grade.
Oh, yes. I found my transition into Diploma, moving in sophomore year, as very smooth and very welcoming. I originally was very nervous because, of course, entering a new place and entering a new cohort and, of course, a new program after being at a previous school was, for me, made me a little nervous. But I found as I entered in, immediately as I walked into my first ID class, I felt so warm and welcomed, and I was ready to get onto that hands-on learning. And it was, in my opinion, I believe that anybody can join anytime, whether it be freshman, junior, sophomore, and they are still going to be so welcomed and loved by their cohort. And the hands-on learning experience is something that I believe that anybody can jump on at any time, and they will still be massively successful.
How did you know before entering or applying to ID that this was for you?
I, of course, tried the original way of learning, of course, as Joe was talking about, or as we were talking about, writing things down, talking to the teacher, giving the information back to the teacher. I found that didn't really work for me. I found that I was missing something that I feel like a lot of kids today are missing, and it's that hands-on learning and building experience. And of course, getting that importance of working with outside entities and outside companies, that's something that at other schools you wouldn't do. And I found this experience in this program, even before I applied to it, to be really special. And that's what made me fall in love with it.
And has it met or exceeded your expectations?
Oh, I already loved it so much before going in, but once I entered in, it definitely exceeded my expectations. And definitely, I love this program so much. I love my cohort. I love the people in it. I love the teachers. Everybody is just so warm and welcoming. And the learning is definitely something unique, and you don't find that anywhere else.
I love to hear that. And your class is what, 100 people, 100-ish?
I believe our class, including the people that are not in ID, over 100. I'm not sure how large our cohort is, though.
But it makes it a smaller group. Makes it a smaller group that you are you're close with, and you spend a lot of time with them. So that's gotta help as well, build those relationships, and you're kind of doing it together, which has got to make that experience also very impactful.
Yes, of course, it was very impactful, and I'm so glad I've done it.
That's great. Thank you, William.
Thank you.
Maddie, Can you describe for us how ID has helped you shape your entrepreneurial journey? Do you have any specific projects that you can share with us about what you've been working on in ID?
For sure. Since starting Innovation Diploma, I've definitely learned a lot. Since I entered junior year, I was kind of thrown into the deep end a little bit, but I really picked up what I was learning really quickly. And I found that I was thinking about things and learning about things that I'd never learned about before. Like I was learning marketing and how businesses market, and I learned about branding and why companies choose the logos that they do and why they choose color palettes. And I was thinking about all these things I'd never thought about before. And I realized what I'm capable of, and that I really can create anything I put my mind to. And in an ID helped me that, because I was working with real clients and real companies, and they valued my work. So that was very eye-opening for me. So when I came up with an idea for a product, it was oh, I can actually make this a real thing. And that's how I was able to launch my company, because I knew that because of the things that I learned in Innovation Diploma, I could make it real and I could make it successful because of all the things that I had learned. Specifically last year, I learned a lot of Photoshop and Illustrator, and that helped me design social media posts. And I learned a lot of how to talk about a business and how to talk about a company. So I was able to take that experience and use it. And also just gained a lot of confidence in myself and in my work that I produce. And that definitely helped me pursue this as an actual thing. So definitely all the tools that ID has given me and all the things that I've learned that I never thought about before definitely helped me create my company.
And what is the name of your company?
The name of my company is MASDuck, MASDuck. And I just launched my first product on Kickstarter, I think last week, which is really exciting.
And tell us about the product and what you've been able to apply that you've learned from ID in creating, producing, and now at the point of selling your product.
Mm-hmm. So creating my product, it was hard. Okay, so basically my product is designed around rubber duck debugging, which I actually learned about in computer science, which is all about talking to a duck, which I know it sounds silly. Why would you talk to a little rubber duck? But it actually really helps, because talking out loud increases brain activity and awareness. So it helps you find solutions just by saying out loud. When you're talking to a friend about a problem you have and you're explaining it, and then suddenly you're wait, I don't need you. I came up with the idea. That's exactly how Quack works. You're just talking to a little rubber duck. And when I came up with that idea originally, I was sitting in math class and I was oh my God, what if everyone around me had a duck? Then we would all get through this class and it would be much better. So then I started working on that idea, and I actually prototyped it in Maker, so with Mr. Tippin, and I started iterating on it and trying to make it better, because Innovation Diploma actually taught me not to fall in love with my ideas, which I know it sounds weird, you're supposed to love your ideas, but it's about more than just that. It's about seeing what you can create and then seeing how you can make it better. So it's about testing it, asking people what they think of it, and about how you can improve. So once my product was finalized, I contacted manufacturers in China and just started getting prototypes from them, which is absolutely insane. But last year I was talking to clients for the first time and working for a company. So doing that was huge. So transitioning from that to talking to manufacturers to produce my product was a pretty easy transition. And then from there, it's just been lots of talking to manufacturers, lots of designing socials and website and how everything would work once it was ready and to launch. And that's just all been stuff that ID taught me. So,
well, congratulations. Yeah. That's very, very exciting. Just that you have something that's very tangible. I know that everybody walks away with skills and the ability to do different things and discovery and exploration and eventually a product or something that you could show a prototype, I know, but to be able to actually have something that has gone through the entire process is really a testament to your entrepreneurial spirit, and the fact that ID can support that is a win-win. I think it's good for the school, it's good for you, it's good for everybody around you. So congratulations, Maddie. That's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
Liam, you are our veteran on this panel in ID. What can you share with us that would describe the differences when you started in differences across the board, differences in you, difference in the program, difference in the cohorts, what you're seeing that in the people coming in ninth grade now that you're a senior? Describe for us kind of that growth and that journey for the program.
Well, I'm just going to say that I really grew up with the Innovation Diploma because my grade was the first freshman class to go through the ID Humanities courses. So I've watched and I've been able to experience every iteration of ID Humanities throughout the years. And every year I'm just watching as Droke and the other teachers are compiling all the knowledge they get from the year previous and using that to change the way the curriculum is run to make it better. Right now, I'm seeing the curriculum that they're having the sophomores and the freshmen run through, and it's so much more robust than what I had as a freshman. And I'm excited to see what they do when they come up and they're juniors and seniors. Because I'm looking now, last year I was a junior and I was working with seniors in design brief, and they were really good. But now I'm looking down at the juniors and I'm working with them in design briefs, and they're so much more impressive than I was as a junior, and that I'd ever seen with students in iDiploma before. So I can only imagine what this year's freshmen are going to do when they're seniors, or what the 8th graders are going to do when they're seniors. And it's super exciting to know that the work that we're putting in now is changing the way iDiploma is run so that it's better for the students below us. Like the social entrepreneurship program that the sophomores ran through last year and that they're running through again this year that works with UPenn, that didn't even exist at iDiploma, in Innovation Diploma, when I was going through the ID Humanities program. But now it's a part of the core curriculum, and it's so impressive to see these students go through the really difficult work that they're doing in the social entrepreneurship program and succeed, and then come into design briefs and be more ready than I was when I joined design briefs as a junior.
So would it be fair to say that the program is going through the same evolution and the same growth pattern and the same iteration process that students do as they're going through either a project or the program as a whole?
Not only would I say it's fair to describe it that way, I'd say it's necessary to describe it that way. The way we're taught to look at problems in Innovation Diploma is the same way that the teachers look at problems within an Innovation Diploma. This year, they created a panel, they call it the ID Leadership Team, where they took juniors and seniors who have excelled in the program and they think would make good leaders, and they've taken them as a voice within the student body because they felt there wasn't enough connection between students of all grade levels, and they needed a voice within the student body to help create that connection. And that's something they realized through an iteration process, just like we do throughout the design briefs.
So the school is a client as well.
Indeed.
And I think also it's a kind of a research hub for all of you to be able to enlist your work within others in the school, and to make sure that you can employ the skills that you've learned and apply them to so many different things. And do you find, Liam, that you are applying what you learn in ID in other aspects of your life?
Definitely. I was lucky enough to get nominated for the Governor's Honors Program, which is a program where students are nominated and then they have to apply into it, but they're taken for a specific subject area, and they're taken to Berry College for 4 weeks where they do an intense study in this subject area. I was nominated in math, and I went there for 4 weeks, and the problems were ridiculously hard, but I feel like my experience with iDiploma, looking at insurmountable problems, like how do we rebrand Delta's gate experience, which was something that I worked on when I was like brand new to the program. But the experience I had coming over these insurmountable problems was what really pushed me to do better in math. And then eventually at JHP to go through some of the hardest math problems I've ever seen with a group of my peers and excel. I loved that program, and it's one of the things that's inspiring me to go into engineering in college. And I think Innovation Diploma is not just a program you're going to be in high school and then forget about it when you go to college or in your career. It's something that's going to change the way you see the world and change the way you interact in your career and in college.
Thank you. And congratulations on your nomination of the
Thank
Governor's
you.
Honors Program. That's just fantastic. That's really great. Of the panel, who is in the best position to describe to our listeners the partnership with UPenn? Is that okay? Go ahead, Maddie.
I'm actually currently, since I was new to Innovation last year as a junior, I didn't necessarily get the opportunity for it to be a part of my curriculum just because I wasn't here freshman, sophomore year. But actually I talked to Droke and I was able to get into the program now as a senior. So I'm taking it with a bunch of sophomores, which is a little strange, but the program itself is really cool. They basically partnered up with ID to get all of us who are in the program certificates from the University of Pennsylvania for social entrepreneurship, which is basically we are finding a problem in the world, finding a target market or target audience who this kind of goes along with, and we're conducting interviews, we're doing prototypes, we're iterating those prototypes, interviewing some more, and basically trying to find a way to solve problems. So it's a lot like what Innovation Diploma does with design briefs when you're older, of working with a client, except instead of helping a client solve a problem, you're helping the world solve a problem. So it's a very interesting program.
All right. Well, I really do want to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your story. And I will ask you, Corinne, for one final thought. What is your summary statement for this innovation program?
That's such a difficult question. I think right now what I kind of think of is working on real world problems with real world experts. It's just kind of the thing that I always keep in mind, and always that just because we're young and aren't as old as people doing actual problems doesn't mean that we don't have the skills to do so. And I think that it kind of proves that just because we're in high school doesn't mean we can't do college level work or even beyond college level work. And I think that kind of just sums it up for me, definitely what I'm thinking of when I think of ID.
Well, when somebody thinks about the work that is being done in the world, especially when it's impactful work, I'm pretty sure they don't think about a group of high school students doing it. And it is just absolutely my honor and pleasure to share with everybody who's listening the fact that you guys are really doing this work. And it's not just you're learning to do it, you are actually doing it, and you're making differences, and you are building something. You're building something for yourself, you're building something for the school, and you're also really building something for those who come after you. So I applaud each and every one of you. I wish you the best of luck on your independent journeys, and I cannot wait to hear more stories about what you do. And you will catch me on the green playing golf, because I've got to experience that as well. So thank you, everybody. We're so appreciative to you, Joe, William, Maddie, Corinne, and Liam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe to Made in MV to learn how we do what we do at the Mount Vernon School and why. Next time on Made in MV, curiosity and passion drive learning. Mount Vernon students are taught how to learn by engaging the senses through open discussions, hands-on discovery, building prototypes, listening to feedback, empathizing, and simply trying something new, all to establish the framework for college, a career, and life.